Rushing Manhua. A few hours ago, he was just a poor, skinny hentai reader, but now he had just broken a tree with the body of a beast that was thrown by his powerful punch. What the hell happened to his body, the protagonist asks himself. Could this be the power of infinity? The magician book appears excited and points out that this was just the result of an hour of immersion. But now is not the time to celebrate. Suddenly, snakes wrapped around his arms. The Emperor's son's gang of fools launched their special formation called Four-Star Snake Formation, in which they bind their opponent's limbs with 4 iron snakes that are star-source beasts as they pull them while positioning themselves in a star shape. As they pull our protagonist, the Emperor's princess stands bragging behind them saying, "You think you can take me down, you little brat? No way." And well, this bastard isn't a big fan of a good old-fashioned fair fight. While his 4 partners hold our protagonist, he calls the Arcanine faked to attack poor Lin Shing. But out of nowhere, the Emperor's son is startled by something and slips, kicking his orange dog. "You! What are you doing here? You have no idea what I'm planning, right?" A girl with pink hair, pink clothes, big breasts, and last and not least, pussy also pink, appears to cheer up the Emperor's little princess. Her name is Chung Miao Miao, and she is the daughter of the master of the House of Martial Heart. The pink girl scolds him, asking if he is messing with his classmates again. Impressed, our protagonist says, "Is she Chung Miao Miao?" "Yes, she is the classmate of brat Liu Dadiao and our protagonist's crush." Leo wonders if she followed Dadiao there because she saw him leaving town with their team. And in the background there, I was hunting, trying to apologize to the hunter. "I swear, I did not do nothing. Don't even try to deny it. I saw you with my own eyes. I'll tell your father. Please no, I won't do this again. My old man uses violence for anything." However, the girl hadn't even looked around her. Astonished, he wondered if our protagonist wasn't from their class. One of the henchmen who was holding him with the snake whip starts laughing and says that that idiot was just a random nobody. Then she asks that if he is a random, why would they be messing with him? Without giving them time to respond, our protagonist says with his mouth full, "Because I'm a better fighter, that's why." So he brought his goons to save his face from getting smashed by attacking me. And in his mind, Lin Shing thought, Chung Miao Miao is the daughter of the master of the House of Martial Heart. In other words, if he managed to access the arena with her, he would be able to learn all the classifications of martial arts and thus be able to defend himself. Meanwhile, the Emperor's maiden and her stuffed tiger were throwing a tantrum, shouting, "Ah! Do you think you are stronger than me? Absurd! I am much stronger than the tiger." Then he goes after our protagonist again, saying he's going to kick his ass. The pink girl screamed for him to stop, but it was no use. Running with his Arcanine, he boasted that his father invented the 4-star snake formation, and even a triple heaven spiritual expert would fight bravely to get rid of this technique. And he yells saying, "Well, if you want to start a fight, then go ahead. Even if I beat you, Meow Meow can't blame me." Then Lin Shing lets out an evil smile. Suddenly, all 4 henchmen who were pulling him with the snake ropes start to be pulled in the opposite direction. And well, the team rocket is taking off again, screaming a lot, and they go flying through the air. While our beloved protagonist beats everyone up, a voice echoes in his mind saying that this begins his search for immortality. Without believing what was happening, the frightened maiden bulges her eyes along with his Arcanine. And then Lin, amid much pain and despair, the Emperor's son urgently asks him not to hurt him. The pink girl is shocked and fills her eyes with sparkle, saying, "He is incredible." Well, it's like our protagonist said. Next stop, home of the martial heart. It's ours. This martial arts house is huge. Meow Meow's father finally appears. His name is Cheng Feng, and he is the master of the martial heart house. He asks her if our protagonist really defeated Liu Dadiao and his tiger alone. The very excited pink girl says yes, and adds that the most surprising thing of all is that he never trained in martial arts. Then her pink brain fills with dopamine and she says he has to be a natural talent and begs him to become a disciple. Her father says that Liu Dadiao is a bully, but he is the son of the city lord and also a decent fighter, and asks how he could have lost to a child like our protagonist. And finally, he asks where this talented boy is. He wanted to take a look at him himself. The pink girl says he is in the training room, and there's the big boy sitting on the floor while having intrusive thoughts. "With my infinite, immortal, holy body, if I master the martial arts, I will be a great top in this world." And look how strange it is. While he says this, the magic book is trying very hard not to shit. How cute. Well, the book can't handle it and explodes. From inside it comes the fire girl who jumps on top of our protagonist saying, "I can barely wait." The naughty fire girl turns her back, looking sideways at Lin Shing and asks if he, Your Majesty, shouldn't continue the union process now. Unhappy with the beauty that had just appeared in front of him, he shouts at the magic book asking why he let her leave at that moment. And there was the book, more tired than running a marathon in the Sahara Desert. Panting, he says he did the best he could. The more infinity you have in your body, the stronger is your attraction towards it. And he says, "I'm just a book, not a prison. I cannot contain it completely." And seeing the shit that the magic book could give alerts, wait, you still don't have enough energy to deal with it. Meanwhile, the naughty girl with the fire asked Her Majesty if he liked her clothes, and he replied yes. After this answer, the naughty girl with the fire tells him to put out her fire with his true love. In disbelief, our protagonist's mind goes into overdrive and repeats countless times, "Are we going to do this now? But Meow Meow can come back at any minute. If she catches us, I'm lost. I need to find out how to take this infinity out of me. I don't want to die young." But unfortunately, the world is not as sweet as vanilla. After saying that, a huge footstep shook the entire training room. The Lord of the Sunny County was there. His authoritarian voice and that of someone who was extremely furious echoed in that place. "Who the hell hurt my son? Come out and face me like a man." Around him, the public whispered about what had happened. Who did this to him? I have to say, I admire who did this. According to your father, the person who hurt him is from our arena. No way. Liu Dadiao is a top fighter, even in our arena. Who could have hit him so much? Then, Master Cheng Feng appears, upset by the situation, and tells his psychopathic father to review his manners. After all, they are using the arena. But this only makes the madman angrier and throwing his arm at the master of the martial arts house, saying that our protagonist will pay even if they weren't on his side. And while the chaos was on fire outside, inside the arena, it was heard inside the training room, "Don't pull up my pants." Then, in a completely embarrassing moment, the boy was ejected from the training room with his pants down, and behind him, in the darkness, you could see a figure with red eyes pulling him. Then the cowardly son of the emperor shouted, "Daddy, it was that guy who hit me!" After seeing who it was, the city lord asked if the boy was an idiot. How could he have lost to a guy like that? Desperate, he asks our prota to put his pants on straight away. After all, he didn't want to see the crazy guy's elephant trunk. So the lord takes one of his summoning stones, while the master of the martial arts house asked him not to do that. Without listening to Cheng Feng, he throws his invocation, shouting at the master to shut up. He has just summoned a mantis of 1,000 blades, a 4-star fountain beast. Our prota is very surprised by what he had just done. The crazy man started to remember all the Pokemon seasons he had watched and says with emotion, "Can your jade pendant turn into a fountain beast?" Then our fire queen leaves the room, stepping on the prota's head as if it were a sack of potatoes. She says not to worry, that was just a small mantis. After seeing the beauty coming out of that room, everyone started talking passionately about that beautiful invocation. Wait, is this the beast source of Lin Shing? How the hell did he buy an excellent crossbow? He can't even afford martial arts classes. She's wonderful. I want her for myself. Then the Lord tells Mantis to attack her. However, our fire bastard is much faster and dodges all attacks. Well, almost all of them. One of them ends up tearing a piece of her clothing, making her very angry. After this blow from the Lord's Mantis, our prota becomes very worried and asks the book what level of source beast Kiko was. Can't she dodge the Mantis's blows? It's dangerous. Hence the book says that the fire bastard is a top-tier beast, but that she has been locked away for so long that she is weaker than she used to be. But he calms Lin Shing down, saying that she has everything under control. After all, fire beats wood, and the mantis was completely made of wood. Then Kiko fills his lungs with air and curses the mantis, saying, "Take that, you stupid mistakes!" And he releases a gigantic Katon in the greatest Madara style at Mantis. But before she could hit him, the Lord calls the creature into the summoning stone. I'm sure he couldn't do that in Pokemon. Before she knew it, the Psycho Lord walked up behind her with a macabre smile, saying that she was such a sweet source beast that now she would be his. But before he could do anything, our prota threw a powerful punch to the old man's ribs, making him turn into a Beyblade and throwing him away. The master of the martial arts house is incredulous, and so is our fire queen. "Damn, your majesty!" Then our prota puts his hand on the beautiful lady's shoulder and says loud and clear that she was his, and no one would take her away from him. Kiki turns extremely red and asks if he was saying he loves her. The Lord composes himself and says to our protagonist, "Kid, I don't think the weak deserve to die, but if you don't give me your crossbow, I might change your mind." Now the choice is yours. Our big boy says he only used 201 of his infinite power. Then he lets Kiko rest a little and provokes the Lord by calling him with his little finger for a sincere fight. Stop talking and come and get her if you want her so much. The pink girl is very worried about what could happen and asks her father to do something. The city lord was a triple heaven-level spiritual master. No one in the sunny city could stop him, but the master could do something. But she is interrupted by her father, who asks her to be quiet because he was thinking Lin Shing was able to do some really crazy things. Maybe he still has some tricks up his sleeve. But before he could think of anything, the Lord tells them to take a look at the skill he was going to use, the celestial hammer, which is faster than lightning. After hearing that, the master starts to break out in a cold sweat and repeats, "What? Celestial hammer?" Then the Lord punches the ground lightly, breaking some stones in the process, and is surrounded by a dense yellow aura. He says that when he releases that skill, he could not dodge it in any way, and that using that skill on her was an honor for our protagonist. In the background, the pink girl and her father wonder if our poor Lin Shing was going to die. Soon, the master hurries up and asks the Lord if he was crazy. Would he really use a deadly move against a boy? And with a huge explosion, as if he had broken the sound barrier, the crazy Lord jumps towards our protagonist. Behind him, the master followed him to try to stop him, but he was too fast. Lin Shing pushes Kiko away, saying that even if he dodged, our fire goddess would still take the hit. Kiko asks His Majesty to be careful, and with his eyes shining, our big boy said, "I'm at full steam." Well, our prota takes a blow so hard that he breaks all the walls behind him, and the master of the martial arts house, well, he arrived too late. Look how they massacred our boy. Even with this monstrous blow, the Lord is impressed by the boy's strength. He says that that child was equal to him, and at the moment of impact, he still made him take 3 steps back. So he takes the opportunity to brag a little more. "That's what you get for picking on my son." The busty pink girl and the naughty girl from the fire run worried about our protagonist, but they stop halfway. When the smoke disperses, they could see the deplorable state that poor Xin Ling was in. The boy was gushing blood from the most incomprehensible places, in addition to some parts of his body being somewhat burned. Even though he's all broken and gushing blood, our dear firecracker doesn't hesitate to give the poor guy a big, tight hug. The martial arts master can't believe what he was seeing before his eyes. Very surprised by his shining eyes, he says, "Are you kidding me? Normally, someone hit by the heavenly hammer would be dead as a door. But did you get up and flirt with that girl? This is so humiliating." After that gesture of wit, the city lord was surrounded by an angry, reddish aura. The proudest man in the city of the sun was irate. With great fury in his voice, the old man says, "Boy, you are a damn genius," and bursts into laughter. He is very happy with the quality of our young protagonist. So he decides that from that moment on, our big boy will study in Master Cheng's arena, and all expenses would be paid by him. So he asks Master Cheng what he thinks about it. The master, very surprised by the city lord's reaction, says it is an excellent idea. Meanwhile, the spoiled boy, who was beaten by our boss, points his finger at his father and shouts, "Dad, we can't let him out of this like this. He hit me for nothing." Then the city lord takes the piss out of his own son and sends the spoiled one away. Yes, folks, another son has just been disinherited. The Lord says that from now on, he will leave Lin Shing to poor Cheng to teach him. The master says he will do the best he can and says goodbye to crazy guy. After all this confusion, the pink girl asks her father what made Liu Tiezu so kind all of a sudden. She thought he was a spiteful guy. Then his father responds that he didn't become the city lord just by being a tough guy. He knows very well that our protagonist is an essential guy for the city of the sun. Then night comes, and there is our dear Lin Shing and his master talking in the study room. Master Cheng is talking about the fire bastard. He tells our protagonist that he still hasn't opened up about how he got such a human source beast. Lin Shing is a little embarrassed about this after all. He couldn't say that he was a nerd who was reincarnated in this world through a magical book he bought at Comic-Con, right? Then he says it's a long story and he just didn't want to talk about it. The master says it's okay. He didn't want to bother our boy. Then he asks if he understands why the Lord of the Sunny City suddenly changed his attitude towards him that day. The boy responds that he thought it was very strange and asks, "Maybe he's into me." Then the master says that in no way, and that the Lord told him that besides him, he would never... Ooh, did I say too much? I got lost in thought and started babbling. Don't take this seriously. After this embarrassing conversation, the master changes the subject and opens a scroll. He says that the real reason for calling him to talk to the study room was to talk about the 6 Cities Martial Arts Tournament. So he asks our protagonist to listen carefully and explains what the hell that was all about. There are 6 cities in the mountain prefecture that compete among the others to show off themselves in front of the council chief. And the biggest event for this is the 6-city martial arts tournament, which happens every 3 years. The tournament starts next month, but our town always finishes last because we are the smallest, so we don't have much hope of winning. But now that we have you, we think we might have a chance this year. Our prota says that he then wanted him to compete in the tournament. Then the master says that winning the tournament would be the greatest honor he could have. Yes, they want our boy to compete in the team of 3 to represent the sunny city. Winning everyone in the city of the sun would be very happy for him. But Lin Shing stops him and tells him to forget about all the fame and shitty glory and tells them to talk practically. What would he actually gain if he competed? After that, the old man breaks the tea kettle and asks, extremely embarrassed, "What do you have for you? It's very difficult to deal with young people now." "Well, I'll talk to the city lord and come back tomorrow, okay?" After that, our young man walks around the martial arts house muttering that if he thinks he can force him to fight his battles, he should go dreaming. On the other hand, the magical book tells him that he must hurry up and agree to the proposal even if they don't throw him a bone, as this was a type of competition that was great for raising his cultivation level. Then our smart boy says that's exactly why he couldn't compete. If he improves slowly, he won't have to work for the book's monster race to return. The book becomes extremely angry and calls Lin Ling a brat, and throws a punch telling our protagonist to put his head in the game, and for a magical object that doesn't exist until the punch was very strong, making our prota break the wall of a house that was in front of them. Lin Shing tells the book that it was just a joke, but he didn't expect the magical book to send him straight to the house where the pink girl was taking a bath. That's not a book, it's a father! That's all, guys. Leave a like and subscribe to follow the next videos. If you want to continue this work or there is another one that you want to become a video, comment below. Bye!